Okay, so what we're doing here is actually looking at some quotes by, looks like they're all white females, and kind of analyzing them and asking some questions about, like what's going on. Are they open-minded or closed-minded about minority groups because of their contact with them and experiences? So the first one we heard was my collection of things called my first recollection of a thing called race was when they stole our bikes. They thought we wouldn't miss them. I'm tired of hearing we're all wrapped up in money. Whatever I have to pay for, with allowance, I work for what I get. So I guess our first reactions on this one were that she kind of groups all minorities in the same area as like thieves, and that they don't work for what they get.
Minorities assume that all white people have money, and that's not necessarily the case for me. I didn't come from money. I had to work for what I had to get. So I think she's just saying, that she's assuming that, or I guess minorities think they can just take what they want, that she thinks they're just a bunch of thieves, like he was saying earlier.
Yeah. So basically, we just decided that she's pretty close-minded.
She's not open because of her experiences. She doesn't look at the big picture. So the next one is people choose their own fate. If you're white, green, blue, whatever color your eyes are, or the texture of your hair, your intelligence and hard work makes or breaks you. Some people nowadays have it easier, but everyone started out in the same position. It is possible for everyone to succeed. So
Our first reactions on this one was like she kind of sounded like she was being open-minded, but then as we looked at it closer, we decided that she's basically saying that those who are suffering or those who aren't in a great position are that way because they are, not as intelligent or don't work as hard.
it's their fault they're not succeeding, is what he's saying.
So again, basically decided she's pretty close-minded.
As unfair as minorities think things are, when a white person tries to get a job, they're overlooked because of quotas. Look at who works for the city. Black people want jobs for being black. What about me? I have bills to pay. I think here that the person, or she's assuming that black people have jobs, and she's saying it's unfair that that the minorities think it's unfair, but then she's assuming that if we give all the black people jobs and minorities, she's not going to have a job and that she has her own bills to pay.
Yeah, I think we just decided that this was a classic example of white backlash. I think the term that, obviously this sounds pretty racist. Black people want jobs for being black, kind of making the assumption that they don't have to work for a job. They just get it handed to them because of their ethnicity or whatever, or because of their race,
They started describing all the
which
symptoms
is
and everything.
not correct, obviously.
Makes sense to me.
And so I think we agree that she's pretty close-minded on the fact that they do sometimes, how I say this? I don't know. She's pretty close-minded because she just avoids the fact that they do sometimes require special treatment because of situations that we've put them in, through social constructionism and stuff like that. All right. So this next one was interesting. She says, "I'm not racist. I get along with everyone, but there's always underlying things we don't understand, like Black English vernacular. A lot of white people feel it is an ignorant version of English, a less sophisticated sublanguage. It sets people aside as an isolating device, like a defense mechanism. They say, this is our culture, our language. I don't know how black people feel, but it's one of those things that separates people because it's seen as different. You can say it's not as good as standard English, but it's a separating device."
So she has that disclaimer saying, I'm not racist. And she makes it sound like she's not, but I don't know.
It sounds like she's open-minded, but I think personally that she's kind of covert about the situation and the language, that deep down inside she is racist, but then she's not. She's not really solving the problem. She's just kind of stating that, hey, the culture and their different languages and how they talk.
So anyways, we kind of decided that she tries to sound not as racist and tries to act like she's identifying the problem, but at the same time she's pretty insulting in some things she says, basically saying that the way that they talk is ignorant and that they're not as intelligent, and they try to excuse it by saying it's their culture or whatnot. Right.
Well, usually they come this door, so I normally go in.
Whoever did it.
Whites are perceived unfairly because everybody sees them as racist all the time. I see a lot of white people trying to struggle not to be, but in turn, they end up even worse because they try to be extra nice, which a lot of racists don't like. I think they're perceived very unfairly. They're always abused. I don't think you can see them as racist or privileged until you get to know them a little better. I don't know, for me this was kind of a hard, or what she was trying to get across. I guess that whites are perceived unfairly. She's assuming,
They're switching. She's switching the roles. She's the one that feels attacked now. She feels like the minority, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. I think what we decided she was really trying to do was kind of turn it around, like she was saying, and make the whites seem like the victims, and that things need to change there. We decided that this is kind of problematic because that's really not how the situation is. Whites are kind of still the more, I don't want to say superior, because we're not, but we're kind of in that place in society right now still. So by spreading this idea, it can actually lead to some pretty severe problems of bias and stuff like that.
yeah.
All right, so thank you.